Hello from the Pacific Northwest. I am in Eugene, Oregon, which is right across the river from Springfield, Oregon. So a few different communities all here in a similar area. And we're on the campus of the University of Oregon. And if you're a college sports fan, you recognize that guy, the Oregon Duck. And we're actually going to start here and we're going to end just a couple blocks up the way, but explore around looking for some weird stuff. You know, Oregon is known for kind of keeping it weird, and we're going to see how the Eugene and Springfield area keep it weird. Now, I don't think weird is necessarily bad, just kind of unique and obscure, maybe just different. And so I've been here a few times. I'm here with Wichita State Track and Field there, and we're here for a track meet. I thought, let's go check out some weird, unusual stuff in the Eugene, Springfield area. I'm going to check out downtown Eugene. Pretty historic area, some cool old buildings. Got an interesting vibe down here. And since it's the start of the day, let's get some breakfast. We're going to start here just on the red brick street at Voodoo Donut. So originally, Voodoo Donut was founded in 2003 in Portland, and it's known for its quirky counterculture style. And it gained kind of a cult following early on for its unusual donut names and late night keep Portland weird vibe. And obviously this is a weird video, so it makes sense to start here. So they opened this location in 2010, and it was the third store and the first outside of Portland. And so that made an early step for their growth from a novelty kind of to a national chain. Now there's over 25 locations nationwide. And speaking of counterculture, this is the Ken Kesey Park. And it's literally just around the corner from Voodoo Donut right there. And there's a statue of Kesey. So he was a novelist, best known for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Has deep ties to Eugene. He was a student and an athlete at the University of Oregon. He was actually a wrestler. He became a key figure in the 1960s, leading the Merry Pranksters, and helped spark the psychedelic movement. Eugene honors him here with this statue. He represents the city's creative and unconventional spirit, his connection to influential literary and cultural history. Right here at the bus station, appropriate for the Rosa Parks statue. Rosa Parks doesn't have any direct ties to the area, but Eugene definitely puts forth effort to honor figures who represent courage and social justice. She's known for her role in the Montgomery bus boycott, where her refusal to give up her seat became a defining moment in the civil rights movement. Just down the street from the bus station is Epic Seconds. So this has its roots in a buy-sell trade shop originally called CD Game Exchange, which was part of a small chain started by University of Oregon graduates in the late 1990s. So over time, the market shifted, and physical media like vinyl and retro games has regained renewed popularity. And obviously, DVDs. I love movies, so seeing all these DVDs for $2.50 is pretty cool. Lots of records, and a lot of classic records if you start going through and checking them out. But the store evolved and rebranded to Epic Seconds while keeping the same core concept of trading used equipment. They've expanded the shop's identity by mixing music, movies, video games, and even local art into one space. Today, it's considered one of the best multi-format media stores in the city. It's a very interesting place to walk around and check out. Yeah, being from Kansas, a little Wizard of Oz there. It's a lot of great posters, some really cool historical items here, and then obviously a lot of different things you can buy, sell, or trade. And they have an upstairs part as well, mostly records, but they also have some local art on the wall. But it was just kind of a fun place to walk around. You know, I'm not a big record person. I do have a ton of movies on DVD, so if I lived here, I'd probably be getting a lot of those movies. But I was just kind of thumbing through some of the records, and I go to the comedy section and pull out stuff like Steve Martin. I mean, that's a classic record. You just don't see things like that too often. And then, Lenny Bruce, if you're a fan of comedy, that's goes way back. And then certainly if you live in Eugene, you might be interested in some Cheech and Chong. Eugene has a lot of awesome parks, places to run. Right over this direction is Preece Trail, and I did the whole Preece Trail a video for you. If you ever wanted to run it and couldn't make it out here, put it on your treadmill and you can experience what it's like to run on Preece Trail. But there's also other parks pretty interesting, and this is the Nobel Peace Park, and obviously it's dedicated to different individuals and places and groups, but it's hard to see the artistic nature of it from on the ground. So let's see what it looks like from above. And also right next to the Peace Park, there's the Solar System Trail. Very unique. So we're just over there, and there's the sun, and here's Mercury. The Eugene Solar System Trail, which spreads all around the city, is basically an outdoor science exhibit. Began in 1990 when a local Eugene resident, Jack Van Dusen, and his son created a simple scale model of the solar system along a bike path using painted markings on the pavement. The idea caught on with community, and by 1997 it was upgraded into a more permanent installation. Built at a 1 to 1 billion scale, the trail stretches several miles along the Willamette River, allowing visitors to physically experience the vast distances between planets. Over time, it has been maintained and enhanced through partnerships with the Eugene Science Center and local parks department. Today, the trail stands as one of the first and longest scaled solar system trails in the United States, blending education, recreation, and Eugene's strong bike path culture. Very cool. Not far from the Solar System Trail is the Shelton McMurphey Johnson House. This was built in 1888. It's on the slope of Skinner Butte, and it was built for Dr. T.W. Shelton and his family. Over time, it passed through the Sheltons, the McMurphys, and the Johnsons, with each making additions and restorations. After the Johnson family, the house was eventually deeded to Lane County in the 1970s, and then to the city of Eugene, where it was restored and opened to the public as a museum in the 1990s. As you can see, we ventured over to Springfield, just across the way from Eugene, and pretty innocent looking neighborhood. There's a house that says the McPherson House or McPherson House circa 1910, but we're here to find Bigfoot. And there is Bigfoot, carved in 2015. Staying in Springfield, you can see there's some cool murals here. And right around this corner, we're here to see some other murals. The Simpsons is set in Springfield, not necessarily Springfield, Oregon, but a fictional Springfield. But Springfield, Oregon has certainly embraced The Simpsons. And besides this main mural here, if you drive around the neighborhood, there are several more. Some of them are hidden like that. Some of them are kind of out in the public view. So there's actually more than the ones I showed you here, but these are the ones I caught just kind of driving around the neighborhood. And then one last mural here to check out in Springfield, and that once again is Ken Kesey, as we saw the statue in Eugene at the park. So you can see there he's certainly known here in the Springfield area as well. Here's one that you might have seen. I did an entire video about previously, and this is Prees Rock. And if you don't know the story, Steve Prefontaine was a Olympic runner at University of Oregon, and he was driving late at night, coming down through here, crashed into this rock, and the car flipped over. He had a convertible, and it flipped over on top of him and killed him. And this is where it happened, Prees Rock. So if you're a runner or a track and field person, this is definitely somewhere that you come and visit whenever you're here for a track meet. And that's why I'm here. I'm here for a track meet in Eugene, Oregon. So Prefontaine got 4th place in the 72 Olympics 5K. And they've made a couple Hollywood movies about him. And he was obviously it was a tragic situation, but he was also kind of a larger-than-life person. And so that's why it became such a story. So there you go, Prees Rock. And we're back on campus at the University of Oregon. This is the Natural and Cultural History Museum. I wouldn't say this is anything weird, but I thought we'd check it out to end our video. This is a replica of the Willamette meteorite, the largest meteorite ever found in the United States, originally discovered in Oregon in the early 1900s. Now the original is housed in the American Museum of Natural History in New York. So let's go in and check out the museum. It costs $7 to go in. It's a pretty small museum, but it's still got a lot of interesting things in it. So this is the flagship museum of the University of Oregon, and the roots of it go back into the early history of the university itself, beginning in the late 1800s when geologist Thomas Condon arrived at the university and brought his extensive fossil collection. I really like this world's oldest shoe display. I haven't seen anything like that before, so that's pretty interesting. But back to Thomas Condon. So his fossil collection became the foundation for the museum's scientific holdings, and in the 1930s, multiple university collections were formally combined, creating the modern institution that today serves as Oregon's official repository for archaeological, anthropological, and paleontological materials, as well as public education center focused on the region's deep history. Kind of a mouthful there. But there's a lot of interesting displays like this old kayak from the early 1900s. And this kind of artwork on the old fabric here, Native American artwork. That's pretty cool. I like this map of Oregon where it shows different towns and then obviously different animals and fossils and different, just all kinds of things with nature to do with where they would have been in the state of Oregon. And as even some really tiny towns that I went to in my 10 smallest towns of Oregon video that I did in my adventures last year. So cool to see that. I'm not much of a geologist, but this is pretty cool. If you take one of the rocks there and you don't know what it is, put it on that red square and it'll tell you on the screen. So pretty nifty little display there. I definitely wouldn't want to be doing any miles on that track. But yeah, so it's a interesting museum. It's got some, kind of wide variety of different things to check out. And as we're finishing up our little tour, hope you enjoyed the oddities and the roadside attractions, kind of the weird things in Eugene. Obviously, this one isn't as weird as some of the other ones, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you're ever in the Eugene, Springfield area, lots of things to check out.